Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Cal State Long Beach Supplemental Application Workshop. And this workshop is presented by the Los Angeles Harbor College Transfer Center, where we are here to help you transfer to the university of your choice. Today, we're going to be focusing on Cal State Long Beach, which is pictured in one of our awesome field trips that we had a couple years ago to Long Beach State. Which is a great university that requires a supplemental application that is due February 1st, 2023 for fall 2023 transfer applicants. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, we're going to go over a couple of things. What is the Cal State Long Beach Supplemental Application? That's something my students ask me all the time. What to expect on the application. I know that students can find it to be a bit daunting, but that is okay. We're here to help you with that. And then Q&A at the end. If you're at the workshop in present time, we do help our students at the end of the workshop with their questions related to the supplemental application. If you aren't able to make the workshop today and you're watching this later on YouTube, you can click on the link in the description to make an appointment with a counselor from the Transfer Center, and we can help you during an appointment or just during walk-in hours with the supplemental application as well. So what to expect? So you might have received a link to complete the supplemental application from Cal State Long Beach by email, and you want to make sure that you get that done by February 1st, 2023. Now, if you're not able to, find the email, maybe you accidentally deleted that email, the website is right here. I'm also going to put the link in the description too in the YouTube video. You can also Google search CSULB Supplemental Application, and it will appear on Google too. Now, what you will need to access the supplemental application, supplemental application includes your Cal State Long Beach ID number. That should be found on the bottom of any of the emails Long Beach State has sent you recently. You'll also need the last 4 digits of your social security number or I-10, if applicable, and your date of birth in order to access the application. Now, a lot of the times my students will ask me, why don't I have a portal for Long Beach yet? The reason is because they don't let you create a portal quite as soon as Dominguez and Fullerton, Northridge, all the other schools do. They have you do the supplemental application first, and then from there, they'll determine if it's time for you to make a portal or not, closer to late February, early March. So this is the closest thing you have up to a portal for now, and it's to complete the supplemental app. Now, once you log in, you will see when you first start, there's a bunch of red squares for everything that you have to do. Once they're complete, they're going to change over to green check marks. So that is our goal, to make sure that we have all green check marks by the end of this workshop for you, or by February 1st. We want to make sure this is done and ready for Long Beach to review. Now, the good thing is you can also jump to any section of the supplemental application by clicking on these. These are actually little links that take you to each section. And then another thing you want to make sure is that you know you can edit this. So if you finish this application and then you click the finish button, but then you realize the next day, oh no, I accidentally put the wrong grade, or maybe you accidentally indicated that you're not going to complete a class that you now are, you can log back in and make changes all the way up until February 1st. There's a finish button, but there is no finalize submit button, meaning that you are free to make edits still, and then you click finish again. So when it comes to this application, one of the first things they'll ask you about is your associate degree for transfer. If you're not earning an associate degree for transfer, it will not ask you for an associate degree for transfer. But if you indicated on your Cal State application that you're earning an ADT, then it will ask you when you're completing your ADT by. So for my students, normally rule of thumb, you want to finish it by the end of spring 2023. Sometimes my students finish it in the fall. That's just fine too. If you finish your ADT in summer 2023, that can negatively affect your admission. And that is because you're supposed to have it done by the end of spring typically. So if you need help with that, you're not quite sure, make an appointment with a counselor. I love helping my students do graduation paperwork, check when they're earning their degree, things like that. And I especially like having students get this done with me in January, because that is when it's a little bit slower, so we can get it done for sure quickly, and it's easy to get an appointment with me. So I will put my appointment link in the description box too. And yeah, we can get that done for you. And then also the next section is college work. So it's going to ask you if you have AP scores, IB scores, CLEP scores. That's the first section. AP scores are advanced placement scores. If you have them, you're going to mark yes. IB scores are international baccalaureate scores. These are extremely uncommon. To be honest with you, I've never had a student complete IB scores at Harbor College, which is just fine. AP, IB, and CLEP scores are not an admission requirement, so you don't need to have them. They just want to know if you do. And then after you scroll down, it'll ask you which campuses you are transferring to. Or which campuses you've attended. So in this case, the student attended Harbor College and ELAC. And then there's also a little box that says transfer AAAS. Sometimes, normally no. But this did happen once last year, but you can mark it as yes for transfer AAAS. And a counselor like myself can help you review, make sure that these dates are correct on here. So that way you're indicating so correctly. And then of course, there's a general preparation section. That's next. It's going to ask, what is your cumulative transfer GPA? And a lot of my students ask, like, what is that, right? So I'm going to show you really quickly. So when we take a look at a transcript, the very end of your transcript is going to show your cumulative GPA. But at Harbor College, your cumulative GPA in this example is a 3.06. That is not your transfer GPA. That is your GPA with all courses that you completed at Harbor College or at Harbor at LACCD, right, which is our whole district. So if you took a class at West LA Valley, the student took a class at Valley, right, it's going to show your overall district GPA. But you want to make sure that we calculate your transfer GPA, right? So I recommend that you have a counselor help you calculate your transfer GPA. I do it for my students during their appointment. I don't like to just make my students figure it out on their own, but we have to deduct any class that says NDA, that says AAAS, because they're not transferable, right? So anything that is not transferable does need to get removed, and that is how we do the math to get you your transfer GPA, and that is what we input into the supplemental application. So once we check your transfer GPA, we're going to input that, and also it's for all schools. So if you went to LBCC, a counselor should help you add in your Harbor College with your LBCC combined. If you went to El Camino, Santa Monica, maybe you went to even Cal State Long Beach for a little bit, right? You want to add all of your GPAs up and put them in there. The next thing is it asks is if you're going to have your 60 transferable units done by the end of spring 2023. So yes, you should. If you do not have 60 transferable units by the end of spring 2023, you will get denied. That's a minimum requirement. So you would want to mark this as yes. For general education units, you need to have at least 30 units of GE, which means, for example, you should have a good mix of English, math, science, political science, US history, right? If, let's say me, for example, if I went to Harbor College and I did English 101, English 102, transfer math, that is 3, 6, let's say 10 units, right? And a comm class, that's 13 units, right? Let's say I did 13 units for that, but then all the rest of my classes were culinary classes, which culinary classes are great, but no culinary classes meet general education from Harbor College. So I don't have the 30 units of GE, 30 units worth of GE related courses. That's not good. So you want to make sure, and most of the time, I would say 99% of my students all have over 30 units of worth of GE related coursework, but a counselor can double check that for you just to make sure you're good. But normally everyone is, but Long Beach doesn't want to know. And then general education units. Oh, sorry. We did that one. We did transferable units. And then academic standing. It wants to know if you are in good academic standing. 99% of the time, my students are a yes for good academic standing, meaning that you are meeting above a 2.0 GPA. And that is because at this point of transfer, right, you've been taking your studies very seriously and doing great. And that's why you're getting ready to transfer. So 99% of the time, my students are in good academic standing. And then we'll move on to the next section. Major preparation is another one. that it asks for. So you want to finish your major prep courses by the end of spring 2023 to have admission for your major. Now for the student, these courses are listed how they appear at Cal State Long Beach. So a student might say, oh, I didn't take Bio 205 at Harbor College. What should I put? A counselor can help you with this. I myself personally, I do like to go into assist.org for my student and check, make sure they have what we need, but I'll give you an example of how that looks in case you are at home trying to figure this out too. So right now I'm at assist.org and I'm going to search the articulation agreement between Harbor College and Long Beach State. And the course is, we're going to search by department, okay, for this example. The class the student needed was Biology 205 from Cal State Long Beach. So we're going to look up the biology department and see what class that meets at Harbor College. So as you can see in the articulation agreement, Bio 205 at Cal State Long Beach is Biology 5 Intro to Human Biology at Harbor College. So we know if the student is planning on taking Bio 5 in spring 2023, then they can mark that it will be completed by the end of spring 2023. So in this case, the student would mark that they're completing it in spring 2023. Let's say the student already completed the general psychology, would look on assist.org, and that is Psych 1 at Harbor College. If they already completed with the C or better, they can put that there. And then this is the stats, right? So if I took Math 227, for example, or Stats 1, you can mark it as completed or with the C or better. But in best practice, it's better to have a counselor check it for you too. And then in addition to lower division major criteria, you have additional departmental criteria. Please indicate below that you have reviewed and acknowledged these additional requirements. Yes. Now, this is an example of how it looks for social work, for example, right? Social work wants to make sure that you know that you have a special extra application to do. Same thing goes for nursing too. You do have to do an extra application for nursing. So that's why you want to make sure that you meet with the counselor so we can review, help you verify that you have completed everything for Cal State Long Beach. And then once you're done with that, it will ask you to click the finish button and it'll take you to the certification and you are done. All the green check marks will appear here. The red boxes will be gone. And then you can click a send me an email button and it will take you and it will send you an email confirming that you completed the supplemental application. And you can, like I said before, go back in and edit any responses and re-click the finish button. And you can do that all the way up until February 1st, 2023. So if you start working on it and then you want to make sure a counselor double checks, you're welcome to do so and we can help you with that. And then of course, for my students who are present, you can ask me any questions that you like, or we can go over your supplemental application. And for everybody who watched this video on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at LAHC Transfer Center. We also have our email, lahc-transfer-center@lahc.edu. If you have any questions for us, and then our phone number is here and our office location too. Thank you so much for joining us from the Harbor College Transfer Center to you on YouTube, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you.